All right, guys. I want to talk to you a little bit about a new product, and this product is called the POWERCHUTE. Before I go into the POWERCHUTE, I want to tell you a story. I have a son who's 25 years old now, and he plays basketball. He plays professional basketball. He plays for the Boston Celtics. But when he was young, he was a baseball player, and he wanted to be just like his dad. He wanted to play shortstop. And when he was 5 and 6, 7 years old, he would come down to spring training, and I would share with him kind of some of the stuff that I tried to do as a professional baseball player. Well, I had two pretty good players that were my mentors. One was Pete Rose, and one was Tony Perez. So those two guys would not let me take my son into the cage and work with him on his swing because my swing was terrible at the time. So they wanted to take him in by themselves. Tony Perez taught him how to hit right-handed, and Pete Rose taught him how to hit left-handed, right? So as a right-hand hitter, now this is a 7-year-old kid. As a right-hand hitter, my son was kind of doing this number right here, hitting like Tony Perez. As a lefty, he did the Pete Rose things, right? After spring training, after these guys spent their time with my son, I would go up to Cincinnati to play. He would go down to Florida and start playing Little League Baseball. I get a call from my wife about a week or two later after baseball started, and she said, your son needs to talk to you, so let me talk to Shane. Daddy, the coach told me that I cannot hit the way that Doggy, which was Tony Perez's nickname, taught me how to hit. And my response to him was, okay, buddy, just do what the coach says, and just thinking that he's going to, during the game, he's going to kind of do what comes naturally to him. Well, this was coach pitch. There was a coach that was pitching the ball, and then there was a coach that was making the adjustments to the hitter before the coach threw the ball. So my son didn't have the ability to do what just came natural, which two Hall of Fame players, by the way, taught him how to do. So my advice to him at that time, from Cincinnati, they're down in Florida, is just go out there and just play and have fun. Week goes by, I get another call from my wife. She says, Shane needs to talk to you. This time he's on the phone, and he's hysterically crying. Baseball is for losers. I don't want to play the game. The game is too slow. This, that, and the other. I hate the game. Everything negative he could say about the game of baseball, right? So I go, okay, man, just let me talk to your mom. He's like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm like, okay, you don't have to play. Let me talk to your mom. What is going on? And this is a true story. This coach told her that whoever taught your son how to hit did not know what they were talking about. And this is a true story. And I see a lot of you guys laughing, but the tragedy of the whole situation was after that game, he did not play one day of organized baseball. And that absolutely destroyed me. My son, whose dad was Hall of Famer, but at the time was playing baseball, my son no longer continued to pursue the same aspirations that his dad had, because one coach didn't let him go out there and do the things that came natural to him and have fun. So my advice is to be positive with your kids, let them have a good time. But the other thing is, and how it ties into POWERCHUTE, is this. There is no one way in baseball on how to do things. There's plenty of ways to skin the cat. So make sure that you're open-minded and that you take in all the different variables, because kids are wired differently. They process things faster or slower, but they think differently. And the game has certainly changed. So I wanted to kind of start with that because I wanted to tell you that what I'm going to talk to you about in this product and the way that I look at baseball, the way that we teach baseball at the major league level, it may be a little different than what you do. Doesn't mean that what you do is wrong. Doesn't mean what Major League Baseball does is right, although they're getting paid a lot of money to do what they do. So I think trying to trend to what we're trying to teach at the big league level is the way to go. That's what this product is about. What the world is about right now is about instantaneous results. It's about how can I be better right now? Well, when I talk to people about baseball, I don't talk a lot about what I think. I talk about what I experience and what I know. And this is what I know. This offseason, as well as this past year, I've been working with a guy named Shed Long. Shed Long is a AA second baseman in the Cincinnati Reds organization. He's also projected in the top 15 in our organization, but this kid is going to be an absolute stud at the big league level. He's going to play shortstop. He's going to hit 20 to 40 home runs. He's a second baseman. He's about 5'9", and he is strong as an ox. Shed Long, before he started using this product, swinging the bat consistently about 71 miles an hour. I talked about instantaneous results. After I put this product in Shed Long's hands, you see the numbers right there. He went from 71 miles an hour to 82 miles an hour. This product right here improved Shed Long, who happens to be an aspiring major league second baseman, a guy who has a very short swing, a guy who understands how to be able to defend against a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at the big league level. Well, not quite there yet, but certainly he's going to be there soon. So if we can improve his bat speed and the distance on a fly ball that he may hit by 11 miles an hour or 40 some odd feet, that's the difference between an out and a home run. Double in the gap and a fly ball. So think about this. As I said, this product right here is not necessarily tell you this is the one way to do it, but this certainly is an option. Be open to options, because in my opinion, this thing right here is a very good option for you to help your players with their confidence and everything else that's going to go along with being a successful player. Now, I like to talk about results, but I want to show you guys kind of what happens when a person swings the power chute for the first time. So I went around and I asked a few guys in kind of here if they would swing the power chute, and I came up with one guinea pig. Rob, come on up here. So I'm going to step off to the side right here, and I'm going to let Rob swing this bat. And I want, Rob, if you can share, I want him to just kind of share what the power chute, how swinging the power chute, what it does for you. All right?
You got it.
Why don't you do it like right here? I want you to take like 3 or 4 swings, Rob. You know what? Matter of fact, let's change this up. Let's take a swing without the power chute first. One time. All right. Pretty good swing right there. You're playing right now, right?
Not anymore.
Had the power chute. You've been playing still. All right. All right. Now let's take 3 or 4 swings with the power chute. All right, hit this one out of the ballpark. You were hitting them out of the ballpark.
I'm trying.
All right, heads up in the front. Hold on to your bat, buddy. Hold on to your bat, please. Okay, so what you can see is, and Rob, can you share with us a little bit about the difference before and after?
Yeah, the big difference for me, swinging a regular bat all the time, feels like it's the same thing over and over, but after the power chute, it felt light, it felt quick, hand speed felt better, my hand path felt the same. Overall, I think it was just that fast twitch muscle taking over.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. So, guys, let's give Rob a hand, please. Way to hold on to that bat, Rob. So, I think it's all about confidence. It's all about confidence. For me, if we as coaches, or if we as players, if we have any players in here, can alleviate the anxiety about getting to a fastball. In my opinion, the most difficult pitch to hit is a well-executed fastball. If we as coaches can alleviate the anxiety of getting to that ball, then we're going to be so much better off. So listen, I want to tell you guys the history of this. So I saw this as a golf product, and I inquired to the owners of the company about developing a baseball piece, because the golf product, and it's right over here at the booth over here, so I encourage you guys to go over there and try it. We have the golf product as well as the baseball product, and if there are any tennis players coming or out here, we have tennis product coming as well. So I went out and I talked to these guys and I asked them about the baseball product, and they invited me to help co-develop it. So I helped co-develop this product, and we're making advances and improvements in the product daily. Also, the thing that I thought was, let me kind of beta test this. So I went to some of my players, Carlos Gonzalez, Francisco Lindor, D. Gordon, you may have heard of them, Gold Glovers, future Hall of Famers, and they all were blown away with how much faster their swing speed was. On the average, 8 to 12 miles an hour. Now, these are guys that know exactly what they're doing, but they never had a product to put in their hands in order to go out there and actually increase their bat speed instantaneous. Well, that's exactly what this does. My next stop, or my next call, was to the commissioner of Major League Baseball. So I set up a meeting with him and Joe Torre and his staff, and I went to New York and I talked to them about this product. And they had one question for me. Is it safe? Will it fly off the bat? And I was expected to kind of defend or explain to them and kind of validate this technology, validate why in the world I would introduce this to Major League Baseball. Well, when they only asked the question, is it safe, it told me a few things. What Joe Torre said to me was, it makes all the sense in the world. It makes all the sense in the world, because typically and traditionally, what we have done is we've used a weighted bat. And that is great. We've used the collar, a weighted bat. We've used multiple bats, sledgehammers. We've used all these different products that we considered to help us get loose. And that's exactly what it did. It helped us to get loose, right? So in my conversation with Joe Torre, we got approval that day. Then we called to the minor league side. And as long as Major League Baseball approves it, then of course minor league baseball approves it. So we both have Major League and minor league approval. Why? Because it makes sense and it is safe. It alleviates that anxiety about that toughest and fastest pitch. It helps us as coaches. It helps us as players. It only makes sense. We're not talking about doing away with the tradition of baseball. We're not talking about doing away with these things. But we are talking about trying to provide our bodies and our mind and our psyche with an advantage of how the game has changed. How has the game changed? Well, when I was playing, every once in a while you might run into a Nolan Ryan, 100 miles an hour. You might run into a Randy Johnson. But most of the guys were Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine. Those guys weren't high velocity guys. Those guys would get you out by throwing inside, but they were pitching away. And so you would get out looking out over the plate, and then you would have to react to 92 miles an hour inside, and they would beat you. Well, this is how the technology goes, and the science proves this. The weighted bat, the donut, there is certainly something to that. And I'm not saying that this is not the way to do it, because it does definitely warm up your body and stretch out your muscles. It does all of those things that we traditionally think that it does do. What it also does is it engages your slower twitch muscle fibers, which are your bigger biceps. Anybody seen Glenn Braggs in the 3-man lift in Cincinnati? Glenn Braggs is about 6'5", 250 of just bulging power. You know where his weakness was? Inside fastball. Why? Because he tried to use his muscles to get to that inside fastball. So what the weights do, they alter your swing. When you put a collar on your bat, what it does is it adds weight to the head of the bat, and when you're actually swinging the bat, it's dropping the head of your bat, and that's exactly what we don't want. What we want to do is we want to ignite those fast twitch muscle fibers. We want to get our body prepared so that we can get out in front of that fastball. Can you change that? Okay. Wind resistance technology does that for us. We don't add the weight to the top of the bat. This is very important. We do not add a couple of ounces, I think, is the weight of the product. So our bat integrity is still there. We're swinging exactly the same thing that we would be swinging when we go up there to face 95 to 100 miles an hour. Anybody face 95 to 100? Anybody? Be proud of it, because I did, and it kicked my behind. So I felt like I had to cheat. I didn't have this technology, and I get on my partners all the time, like, Tim, where the hell are you? Where were you 20 years ago when I was playing? Wind-resistant technology gives you the ability to ignite those fast-twitch muscle fibers. And that is the thing. Those are the muscles that give you the ability to get on that fastball that happens to be inside. That's what we want to feel when we're swinging the bat. That's our contact out there, not behind, not casting, here. So what the POWERCHUTE does is exactly that. It gives me the ability to make contact out in front, and that's where I want to make the contact with the ball. What you will find when you're using this is the question will be, do I use it before I go up to hit? The answer is absolutely. Do I use it as a training technique in the off season? Absolutely. Why? Because when I'm using it for the short term, I need to catch up to 95 on 100. Right now, this right here on deck is allowing me the ability to get ready for that 95 to 100 miles an hour. Whoops. In the off season, it trains my body to get prepared for 95 to 100. What does that mean? It means it helps me build my swing from the ground up. The ultimate goal is that instant gratification. That ultimate goal is about us getting that feeling of confidence, alleviating that anxiety, worrying about that pitch that happens to be inside. Wow, almost lost that bat right there. Worried about that pitch that is inside is a real thing for all of us as baseball players, all of us as coaches. Don't worry about the ball inside. How many times stop spinning on the ball inside? He's setting you up to throw away. And I don't care who you're facing in baseball, and I don't care what level it is. Well, maybe it changes in amateur baseball. But once you get up to a level where guys are able to handle their bat, this is what pitchers do. They throw inside and pitch away. Listen to my terminology. They throw inside and pitch away. Anybody disagree with that? Maybe if you're a guy like me that doesn't like the ball inside, they try to pitch inside. But because they're not real comfortable at pitching inside, they make mistakes that happen to be inside, right? If I can alleviate that for myself as a player, if I can alleviate that anxiety as a coach to my players and put him on a training regimen that gets him to look outside because we've eliminated the anxiety of that ball that's inside, how much better will your players be? How do you become a better coach? You become a better coach by allowing your players to be more confident in their approach to hitting. This is one way to do it. Not saying this is the end-all, be-all, but for me, I'm here for a reason. It's because I 100% believe in this product. Joe Torre, Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, and every single player that I have worked with sees the benefit of this and is using this product. So, what does it do? Obviously, you can see right here. We talked about the wind resistance. You can take the bat off very easily. Just tap it on the ground, put it on. It works in seconds. But it helps you to build your swing from the ground up. I saw a few guys over here at the booth kind of swinging it. I saw a couple of these swings here. And my thought to them or my conversation was this. This product is going to help you. If you invest in time with this product, it's going to help to put you in a better position. Because if you try to swing this POWERCHUTE, and I encourage you all to go over here and try to swing it, if you swing this POWERCHUTE without a stable base, you're going to fall down. It's going to teach you and force you to get a nice, solid foundation. It's going to engage your core. You're going to build your swing from the ground up. And oh, by the way, that's exactly what we talk about in Major League Baseball. That's exactly how the best hitters in the history of the game have done it, and the best hitters that are playing today are doing it. Watch them. Watch Bryce Harper. Watch Mike Trout. Watch Miguel Cabrera. Watch the balance. You talk about balance all the time. Every good hitter has balance. Balance is simply building from the ground up. Okay? So that's one of the things that this product does for you. It helps you to build your swing from the ground up. Better balance. Now, most of the times, the reaction that I get from players is like, oh my goodness, now I feel like I'm too fast. Well, there's a reason why pitchers throw fastball and curveballs and changeups and sliders, and there's a reason that they don't tell you when they throw it, right? It's because they're trying to get you off balance. So this is nothing new. This is the game. So because you are quicker, the point is this. You have alleviated the fact that you have the anxiety that you're not quick enough. So it works so much in our favor. It's all about confidence. Confidence at the plate. If we can provide our players with confidence, then we're going to be so much better off. In baseball nowadays, and the Houston Astros are the latest team to be vocal about what they've done. There's a huge, huge sabermetric environment there. And it's very important. And it's always been a huge part of the game. Always. It just didn't manipulate the numbers or characterize things the way that they're characterizing them now. My batting average was this. My on-base percentage was that. When I put the ball in play, I hit this. BABIP, all those different things. It's a real part of the game of baseball. And it's good. Because players want to know, what is my exit velocity? Players want to know, what is my launch angle? Players want to know all these different analytics, all these different metrics on how they're being judged. I mentioned the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros were very vocal about changing the characteristics of their baseball players. What they wanted to do is they wanted to get guys that made productive outs. They wanted to get rid of the high strikeout guys, and they wanted to get more guys that, okay, they hit 250 or 240, but they put the ball in play. Well, look where they are. Now, they were in last place for a while, so they had a chance to get those high draft picks, and they didn't miss with the Correas. I won't say Altuve because he wasn't a high guy, but certainly the Altuves and the Springers. So they didn't miss with a lot of those guys. But the organization was very focused on the analytics. So the analytics, don't be afraid of the analytics. Analytics are just part of the game today. When we start trying to predict what's going to happen using the analytics, now we get into a gray area. But understand, chasing the analytics is not necessarily healthy for our players. The analytics being a byproduct of what we do from hitting the ball consistently hard is absolutely what we want. So being able to increase those analytics, being able to make those numbers look a bit better is what we can do if we have a better swing. So it's almost like the dog wagging the tail as opposed to the tail wagging the dog. Right? So analytics are part of the game. The metrics are part of the game. And there's these collection organizations out there that have these ingenious ways of kind of how to collect all of this information, and all of that is great. I advise you to take all of that in, but understand there's a real responsibility that comes along with being a coach. There's a real responsibility that comes along with being a mentor to these young baseball players. The game has definitely changed. When I was playing, it was about using the donut to get prepared to hit. Nowadays, yes, I use the donut, but now we have another option for our players. Another option that is going to ignite the muscles that we need to ignite in order to alleviate the tension and the anxiety of worried about that inside fastball. Anybody disagree with me on the most difficult ball to hit is a well-executed fastball? Well, I'm gonna point out one person right here. My lawyer right here, Sylvia Lynn, who worked with Major League Baseball for 20 years, told me a fastball was not the most difficult ball to hit. She told me it was a changeup. Anybody believe with that? So you throw 95 to 98 miles an hour, and you throw a 72-mile-an-hour fastball. It's pretty difficult to hit, right? Anybody see the 99 All-Star game? Pedro Martinez struck out 6 guys. I was the first one. He threw me a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. I fouled off 7 pitches, and then he threw me a 72-mile-an-hour Bugs Bunny changeup. And I, what they call, walked the dog on it and struck out, and I was the first of 6. There were some other guys that were out there. I wasn't the only one. But why was the changeup so difficult? Because I was concerned with the fastball. So confidence, guys, confidence in being able to react and work efficiently to get to that ball inside, that's what this product will help you do. It's going to help you build your swing from the ground up. It's going to help you with your confidence, and that's what it's all about. That's all the time. That's all I have for you guys. I'd like to open it up for any questions. If I can answer your questions, fine. It could be about POWERCHUTE, it could be about Major League Baseball, it could be about whatever. Baseball in Brazil, I don't care, whatever it is. So anybody, if anybody has any questions? Yes? So the question was, the guy that was on the flyer that went from 71 to 82, how long did it take him to achieve those results? How about in 5 swings? First time he used it, 5 swings, bam, from 71 to 82 miles an hour. Now, this is so important, instant feedback. You know, what we want, this is the microwave society, right? This is a drive-through society. I want what I want it right now. Anybody got Amazon Prime? I'm ordering it today. It might be here at 6 o'clock tonight. But if not tonight, it'll be here tomorrow because I want it right now. And as players, or as coaches, if we can offer that to our players, if we can say, I'm going to put this in your hand, and I guarantee you might struggle with 85 right now. But you swing this 5 times, get back in there, and let's see what happens with 85. Do it. I encourage you to go over to the booth and try it yourself. You will be amazed. You will be absolutely amazed with how it actually instantaneously gives you the feedback that you're looking for. And if we can do that in 3 or 4 or 5 swings, how much better can we be if we have an off-season program or a year-round program where we are consistently teaching these kids, building their swing from the ground up, and getting those kinds of results? It changes the level. It revolutionizes the training of baseball. As I said, I don't do these kind of products often. When I see something that I like, I go for it, and I am 100% behind this. Major League Baseball is 100% behind this. You are going to see this in big league stadiums this year. You will see guys using it on deck or not. Francisco Lindor had one in the in the postseason on deck. We made him one up. These things are customizable. We put your name, your team colors, do all kind of different things with that. I'm going to hold Tim. Tim didn't tell me that he could do that, but I'm saying he can do that now. Tim, raise your hand right there. You go see Tim over there. All right? Great question. But the results were instantaneous. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yes. 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 Well, what we do, because there are rings on the POWERCHUTE, you can't actually make contact with the ball, so you can't use the POWERCHUTE as you're training. But what I do with the players is I have them swing 10 times in between their actual rounds of live batting practice, soft toss, tee work, whatever it is. So a certain amount of time. Now, these are major league players, and these are guys that are used to this kind of workload. For some of your younger players, maybe it is not 10 swings. Maybe it's 5 swings. Maybe it's 3 swings. But I would have them do something in kind of a controlled environment and then have them come out and then see what kind of results they get instantaneous. But this is a program that I think that you're going to incorporate to your in-season workout regimen, but more importantly, your off-season. Because what you're going to find in your off-season is you're going to find there's going to be stronger core work. As an aging baseball player, the reason why many players like myself have to retire is not necessarily because we lose our hand speed, maybe our foot speed, but we lose our core. That's why most of us older gentlemen have a little more room in our shirts than we did before, or less room in our shirts than we did before. It's because those core walls start to break down, right? So the core is everything. As a defensive infielder, my ability to get my feet underneath my body and make that transition or make that throw is important. My ability to keep everything underneath my body and explode on that ball, that's important. That's all engaging your core. So as an off-season training regimen, swinging this power shoot multiple times is going to automatically create a more broad and a more solid foundation, and it's going to force you to engage that core. Once that becomes just part of the DNA of the players, they take that, incorporate it into their swing. You get less casting, you get more direct to the ball. Good question. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yes. Well, there's scientific technology, or there's scientific proof that the question was, what is it about the wind resistance that engages those fast twitch? You know, there are certain things that engage. Whenever you lift weights, of course, if we have any pitchers here, you see regular players, like pitchers are irregular players. I'm sorry, I got to get rid of that. Everyday players, of course, want to go do all of this, their work. But what we do as baseball players is we have to do what we call band work. And that band work is working with like a very light amount of resistance. And that is so that we can de-engage our larger muscles and engage like that rotator cuff, that labrum, the muscles around the shoulder, right? We do it this way, pronation, supination, all those different kind of things. And what we're doing is we're engaging those smaller muscles because we don't want those larger muscles to take over. When we put a weight on our bat, that's exactly what happens. The larger muscles take over because there's an external weight on that bat. Well, with the wind resistance, we're getting that resistance, but we're not adding that weight. And that is the difference between engaging those larger muscles, which engage when we have that heavier weight, compared to the wind resistance, which we don't have that weight, so those smaller muscles, faster twitch muscles, can engage. I don't know if I answered it specifically. I'm not a biomechanic person, but good question. Yes, sir.
Change the subject. Did you get along with Pete Rose, and who was the best teammate at the time?
Did I get along with Pete Rose? Absolutely, man. Pete Rose was my man. Now, I know some stuff has gone down in his life, but Pete Rose is, listen, Pete Rose gave me my opportunity, and he believed in me. And Pete Rose, I'll tell you a Pete Rose story. I got a couple Pete Rose stories for you. So, how much time we got? 2 minutes. All right. So I get called up. I'm in AAA. I'm playing in Denver, Colorado in AAA. And Pete Rose is my manager. He calls me up. Now, this is a guy I idolize. I'm from Cincinnati. Grew up, born and raised. I idolize Pete Rose. So he calls me up. He's like, Barry Larkin? I'm like, yes. This is Peter Edward Rose. I go, who? He's like, Pete Rose. I go, oh, Skip. How are you, man? He's like, I just want to congratulate you. You're coming to Cincinnati, and you're starting for me tonight. And I'm like, okay, thank you. So I was in AAA, called up to the big leagues. Well, I was in Denver, Colorado. I had to fly to Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas-Fort Worth had some kind of delays getting me to Cincinnati. I had to fly from Dallas-Fort Worth to Chicago. Chicago had problems. Chicago to Detroit. Sat in the airport in Detroit, for 3 hours, got to Cincinnati. I walked into the clubhouse at 7 o'clock. We had a 7:35 game. Pete Rose was walking out of his office, going out to the field, and I'm walking into the clubhouse. I have no bags, no nothing. It's before 9/11, so you could travel without your bags. I walked into the clubhouse, and this is my first interaction with Pete Rose. He goes, "Barry Larkin, your first day in the big leagues and you're already late." And I go, "Skip, hold on a second." Well, he was playing with me, and then he says, "What do you have? Do you have any of your stuff?" I'm like, "No." "What size bat do you use?" "Whatever that Mizuno bat is right there." "What about your shoes?" "Those Mizuno shoes look like they'll work as well." So I used Pete Rose bat, Pete Rose shoes for my first at bat. I didn't start that game, but I had a chance to hit. After the game, he waited for all the media to leave. I didn't get a hit. I drove in a run, hit a ground ball to shortstop with a runner on third base, less than 2 outs. But I made contact. I still was kind of like fluttered about it. After the game, he waits for everybody to leave. Now, I don't know if he knew this or not, but if he didn't ask me for that Pete Rose bat and those Pete Rose shoes, that stuff was going home. They were going to be Barry Larkin shoes donated by Pete Rose. So he waited for the media to leave and everybody to leave. After the game, he said, "How'd that feel, that bat, those shoes?" I was like, "Man, they were nice." He's like, "Good, give them back, because your stuff will be here tomorrow." So, Pete Rose. Love Pete Rose. But all the guys. I got a chance to play with Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Davey Concepcion was an idol of mine, a shortstop, taught me the bounce throw to first base. Wouldn't have done it any differently. Good question. We have time for one more? One more? Anybody else? Maybe we don't have one more. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for listening to me. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. Go check out the Power Shoot. Thank you.